Hi, this is Karen, your T-Mobile sales engineer. Thanks for taking the time to learn more about T-Mobile's SyncUP fleet solution powered by Geotab. We are so excited to be able to partner with Geotab, a premier leader in the telematics platform. This platform will allow us to scale a few vehicles in a fleet to hundreds of vehicles. It's trusted by the largest supply chain and logistics companies such as UPS and PepsiCo. There are literally hundreds of features that this solution can provide. And in this demo, I will highlight just a few that have really resonated with many of our prospects that I have spoken with. So be sure to reach out to your local account rep if you have any additional questions or you want to schedule something more specific as a follow-up to your specific use case. So this solution really consists of two parts. There's the hardware that goes inside the vehicle's diagnostics port or the ODB port, shown here on the slide. This port basically will go into the diagnostic port that is typically located under the vehicle's dash. It is a 16-pin diagnostic port. We do offer an adapter cable that will convert a 16-pin or ODB2 device to a 6-pin or a 9-pin port that is often found in larger commercial vehicles like buses or semi-trucks or dump trucks and things of that nature. We also do support also a 3-pin adapter cable that essentially brings out the on, off, and ground ports of the diagnostic port so that it could allow you to do things like track battery-powered assets such as golf carts or tractors or anything that has a battery, a large piece of equipment that has a battery, or even vehicles that are manufactured before 1996 that do not have a diagnostic port. So this is a self-install product that you can essentially plug in and go. The other piece of the solution is really the cloud-based solution that allows you to access the location of the device or asset. It is a web browser-based solution that can be accessed either through a PC or a Mac, as well as tablet devices and mobile devices that run Android or iPhone. It supports Mozilla, Chrome, Firefox, Safari, Internet Explorer, and so forth. Essentially, you have a username and password that you would log into, and we do have different levels of permission for administrators versus supervisors versus just typical drivers. When you log into the screen, it'll take you to what we call the map view. The map view basically will give you a very high-level view of all of the vehicles on a map, where they're located. Some things that I would like to highlight on this is the quick status of where these vehicles are and what they are doing. So you'll see there are some squares, right? The squares means that that particular vehicle is stopped at a particular location. When you highlight on the vehicle, you'll see the name of the vehicle as well as the location that that vehicle is at and when they stopped at that location. You'll also see a star. A star would be an indication of not only is that vehicle stopped, but it's also stopped at at what we call a zone or a geozone. A geozone can be either your home office, some place that you frequent often, maybe a customer location. Maybe if you allow your employees to take the vehicle home, you can specify a geozone within that particular employee's residence, and then you can set rules based on that particular location, such as after-hour usage. Maybe you do not allow them to have after-hour usage, and with a geozone, you're able to do various different actions and act on it based on that. You also see some triangles. The triangles here basically tells you that this particular vehicle is driving. Not only is it driving, but the triangle is pointing to where the location, what direction that vehicle is driving. So you can see this Nissan is driving southwest in Houston. Also, you'll see some exclamation, like a triangle with an exclamation. There's been rules that have been set, and I'll kind of go over that in a little bit, that basically says that you've broken that rule. And so for this particular one, Casey Landscape Dump Truck has taken a long lunch. Done it once, and it's gone on for over 1 hour and 9 minutes. You can see the location of that particular vehicle. When you highlight that location, you can also see trip details of where where the particular vehicle has gone. And when you highlight, so you can see that this particular vehicle has gone, all these different places. And when you highlight on the route of the vehicle, it'll actually tell you, it'll actually tell you, how fast the vehicle was driving at that particular moment in time. So it actually gives you a really detailed breadcrumb trail of not only where your vehicles has been, but exactly how fast that particular vehicle was driving at the time. So that's the map view. One thing that I also like to point out is the driver feedback. So when you go into the vehicles, you'll see a list of vehicles. There are 18 vehicles here in this particular demo. And oftentimes it's great that, you can pull reports on what the vehicle has done over the last week or last month. And then you can kind of talk to your drivers based on information that's been collected. But you really can't coach the drivers as the infraction is happening, right? But with GeoTab and SyncUP Fleet, the device actually allows you to send on-demand alerts to the driver as certain infractions or rules have been broken. So two of the key rules that it can automatically do if you turn it on is when a vehicle's been idle for a long time. So many people, there's been data and evidence that shows that 1 hour of idling in a vehicle is equivalent to burning 1 gallon of gas. And so you can specify a rule so that when a driver is idling for more than, say, 30 minutes, I want the vehicle to start beeping, or the device to start beeping, to remind that particular driver that, hey, you know what, you should, power off the engine or move along to where, to another location. This is good for not only fuel savings, but also there's greenhouse rules and pollution rules that need to be taken into consideration, that something like this would help drive positive behavior. Same thing with speed warnings, right? So you can actually have the device beep if the vehicle goes above a certain speed limit, and if it goes below a certain speed limit, the beeping will turn off. So those are things that you can do on the device itself. The other thing I wanted to point out is rules. So this tool actually has a great job of specifying when infractions has been broken, right? You saw the triangle with the exclamation. So there are a lot of rules that can kind of help you take a look at the behavior of your fleet. The rules are broken down into safety rules, productivity rules, and finally fleet rules. So I'll just kind of give an example of some rules that you can specify. So oftentimes a lot of customers say, hey Karen, can you tell me if there's any way when a driver, for example, removes the device from the vehicle, I want to be notified immediately so that I can call that driver to ask them, hey, what's going on, right? So under the fleet rule, for example, there's an unauthorized device removal. You can leave that on or turn it on. When you turn it on, you can specify what you want to do with that, right? So if that rule is broken, you can either add an email and send yourself an email to say that, hey, I want to send an email to Alex every time this particular rule is broken. You can also add an alert, such as a pop-up alert or an urgent alert. Urgent alert essentially was that alert that has an exclamation on it. So when you log into the portal and that rule's been broken, it'll show you right next to the device and on the map as well. Let's see what else. So that's for unauthorized device removal. The other thing that you can also do is you can also run reports with this solution. The reporting capability of SyncUP Fleet is so very powerful. There are about 25 different built-in reports that is in the system. Everything is done on an Excel-based format. So, for example, if I want to see a report that is sent to me every day via email or whatnot, of a trip detail report, I want to know, all the places that my fleet has been for say this week. You can apply that change, and takes a little bit because I have a fleet of 13 plus vehicles. Once it comes back, it'll show you basically a report that shows you, where all of my folks have been, and it'll show you the start times, the stop times, the driving durations, the device, the location that they've been, how long they've idled, the maximum speed that they were at, and so forth. And any of these reports can be modified, like I said. So say, for example, hey, you know what, this is a great report to start with, but I don't really care about the idle duration or the maximum speed that it was. You can basically download this report. It's in Excel, and then modify that Excel report and then upload it back into the report section. And then you can, basically you add the Excel file that you've modified. And once you add that new report that you created will now generate the type of report that you want to run. You can also specify email reports, which is what I've shown here. So I've created 3 reports here that basically will get emailed every day to a specified email that I've created, as well as there's a dashboard report for this particular report. I've created a dashboard report as well as an emailed report. And then finally, we have this dashboard view. This is kind of a cool view that when you log in, you can kind of see some specific things that you want to highlight on. So I've done a watchdog report that kind of reports on the number of, what's going on with the devices. There's 12 devices that are online. There's 3 devices that's been offline for more than 21 days. 2 devices that's in the system, but it hasn't been installed yet. And then we've got 1 device that's been offline for 3 to 21 days. I've done a speeding report here that kind of gives you, based on this month, all of my drivers and who's actually sped the most. So we see Big B towing. He's the lead foot here in our demo pool that's sped 26% of the time. And then we have this idle cost savings report. Remember how I talked about 1 hour of idling is equivalent to 1 gallon of gas that's burned? So this gives you a real quick graphical view of, in the last week, how much potential savings I would have made if everybody did not idle in a specific parameter, whether it be 5% of the time or whatever. And then same thing, other reports that can be pulled, including utilization reports and posted speed limit reports and so forth. That's pretty much a highlight of the SyncUP Fleet solution. Thank you for your time. And as I said before, if you want to schedule a more detailed demo for your specific use case, please reach out to the account rep for your particular territory. Thank you.